Yes, sir. Drip or Drown season is making its way around, and the vibes are right. Today, let's join Lesbian Girl and her friends, lesbians girls, as they embark on the heartfelt journey of this probably being the best RPG Maker game that I have played in a while. Because it's good and hella gay.
What? I ain't gay. Hello there.
My name is Delta, and welcome to my review of Ms.Director by Sketchy Nonsense, and spoiler alert, this game's pretty good. The funny thing about RPG Maker and my relationship with it on this channel is that I tend to really like this game, but almost everything else has been less than stellar. Picking up Ms.Director worried me a bit because it is very similar to Lockhart Indigo, and for those who haven't seen that video, let me give you a TLDR. I didn't like Lockhart Indigo very much, so going from that to another game with a similar gameplay loop made me cross my fingers and hope that this review would go a little differently. And differently it went. First impressions are everything, and Ms.Director definitely nailed its first impression. The art and atmosphere is outright stunning, and I feel as if establishing atmosphere was important from the beginning of its development. The vintage 40s aesthetic complements the music choice, which complements the art, which complements the game. The black and white art direction make the game feel closer to a silent film than an interactive art piece, but I appreciate it nonetheless. I enjoy the art style specifically. The round cartoonish features of these characters kind of give me a 50s cartoon vibe, like it could be something I would see if the 50s had Adult Swim. The in-game sprites and tile sets are also pretty good, but I wish they were a little bigger. The game starts off by introducing us to the protagonist, Patricia Dahl, and when I tell y'all this woman makes me hot and bothered, Patricia is a great vehicle to drive the story forward and sets the bar for the quality of the rest of the cast. Patricia is a Hollywood actress whose 15 minutes of fame are almost up, so now she has to take a very sketchy job in order to save her career. We are then introduced to the titular character, one Josephine Violante, aka Ms.Director herself. And I hope you didn't fall in love because we won't be seeing her again until the end. Once you gain control of Patricia, you can really start to take in and appreciate her sprite and the rest of the artwork. Patricia's sprite looks great, and she looks even better in front of the sink.
It must be the ass that got me like that.
After some light scares and simple yet effective animation, we wake up in a bedroom and again, the phone is ringing. And I'm having some flashbacks. Who could be calling me right before I check into my PP appointment? Hello?
Hi, is your refrigerator running?
I think so.
You better go catch it!
The phone gives us a quick rundown of the situations before turning us loose to explore the mansion, and I can appreciate the short prologue. As Delta veterans are probably aware, I'm not the biggest fan of backtracking, and boy oh boy did I backtrack in all 3 playthroughs. I don't know what's wrong with me, but I just could not remember where certain rooms were. In the latest update of the game, Sketchy Nonsense went ahead and added labels outside of the room so that way you wouldn't have to actually go into every single room, and I still got lost. Fans of Metroidvanias tend to say, oh hey, getting lost is a sign of a bad map, and to that I say, does it? You sure? You sure I'm just not Helen Keller? The gameplay consists of you exploring Ms.Director's mansion, reading up on lore, and solving light puzzles for the supporting cast. This game kind of puts all its stock in the characters, so if you don't like the characters, then you just won't like this game. Good news is that almost every single character is interesting in one way or another. Hell, one of them becomes a party member, and thank God I got the cool one instead of one of these. Every new character introduces us to more interesting tidbits about the state of the world, and interacting with these characters is a good break from the atmosphere. Whenever I was roaming down the halls, I was always worried that something would come out and eat all this cake. Unfortunately, the game doesn't lean too hard into its horror aspect. The horror is few and far between, but as you progress through the game, the mansion changes ever so slightly. Not enough to make it unrecognizable, but just enough to make you wonder, was that always there? What about that painting? Wasn't there a painting here? Was this evil monster coming to kill me always right here? There are a few chase sequences throughout the game, but there are only a few, so think of Ms.Director as baby's first horror. Ms.Director reminds me a lot of the RPG Maker Golden Age games like Eve, Witch's House, and that one game where a bunch of those cats decide to get intimate with that Japanese schoolgirl. Yeah, Mogeko Castle. Yep, that's what it's called. It's real. Why the fuck does this game exist? The thing about Ms.Director, though, is that it feels like the intro to something. Its story is contained and can be enjoyed on its own, but it definitely feels like it could have been more. Remember Ground Zeroes? Ground Zeroes is a great game, but it was just the prologue of Metal Gear 5 that those bastards over at Konami skimmed off the top and then sold to us for $30. By the end of Ms.Director, I just wanted more of it, and it felt like just the beginning of something bigger, bolder, sexier. Come on, the dynamic duo is just getting started. If I was a developer, I would probably package this game with the sequel and sell them both as the MD experience. I hope that didn't come off super negative, but MD coming off as a prologue is probably a good thing. Ms.Director is $5, so spending $5 for 3 hours of gameplay is worth it, and honestly, it's still probably too cheap. Ms.Director is a good gateway to RPG Maker horror because it has personality, it's short, it's cheap, it's gay. I recommend it, I guarantee it, I stand by it. Ms.Director is definitely a big boy, but I gotta put an asterisk next to it. See, the reason I like this game so much is because characters are the most important thing to me when it comes to video games, period. If your game has a narrative focus, I don't really care about your world, your setting, your combat, your platformings. I don't give a fuck. Do I like your characters? And Ms.Director, I do like your characters, except for this one. Josephine kind of goes back into my previous point about the game feeling like a prologue. I felt like Josephine was just getting started, and it sucks because she doesn't have that much dialogue. The game jokes a lot about her being uncharismatic, and I thought about it, and I think she just didn't get enough time to shine. She didn't come off evil per se, just weird, and weird villains are some of the best ones. Just ask Kefka from Final Fantasy VI. All that being said though, Ms.Director is definitely one of my games of the year, but it feels like it was custom tailored for me. I understand that most people would play it and just say, it's alright. It has some bugs here and there and some spelling and grammar issues, but none of these things stood in the way of my enjoyment. So I'm putting it here in the big boy tier, and holy shit! First one of the year. Goddamn, we eating good out here. Pop the champagne. Let's get cunt. Lesbians won. Game of the year. Y'all still playing heteronormative romances? Couldn't be me. Lesbians winning, bitch. Yes, sir. Drake too. He said he was one, so we gotta accept him. So thank you for making it to the end of my Ms.Director video. Did you miss me? Yeah, I'll just see myself up. If you liked the video, then please give it a like. And if you really like the video, get a boy a sub. You don't want to miss out on more videos like this one, do you? Hit that fucking bell. If anything about this game interested you like it interested me, then please go buy it. Links in the description. It's on Steam and itch.io. It's $5, fucker. Stop buying V-Bucks. Come on. Stop buying Far Cry 6. Don't buy that. Don't buy this. No. Come on. No more rent. No more sustenance. Just buy girls mansion. Buy it. I'm sure you'll have a good time in the long run, and if you don't, I mean, hey, it was only $5. That being said, thanks again, and I'll see you next time for my dreadful Metroid Dread review.